Alright guys, welcome to the Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and here is the roller, cable roller for my trailer. We got the roller, bearings, pin sticking out, and I'm actually thinking about utilizing that pin sticking out for the ramp poles. I might turn something that slides over top of that and then have a hole in this side for another bigger shaft to go out for the ramp to ride on. I don't know yet. We'll see. It seems like a perfect thing to be sticking out on each side, so we'll see how that works. Anyway, this is the roller. It's going to mount to the side of the or the back side of the trailer. Here is one of the hangers, spring hangers, welded up, and I did a pretty good job on that. I was actually kind of proud that I'd done that. And then after I got it welded, I just found my sweet spot and found how I wanted to do this. And I'm using this American Forge and Foundry Model 210 MIG flux with no gas, with flux core, like 5/16 wire. And this is what it started out to look like. And we're going to weld this one up on camera. So let me get set up and ready to weld for you guys. Alright, let me get my ground hooked up. We're just going to hook it to the handle. We've got these bolts tight to hold them in place right where we want them. And these two are tightened down. And I found that when I weld, I'm actually holding it. Let's pretend this is the welding tip. I usually just hold it right there just like that, right in the center, and just go straight up. I don't do no swirling or nothing. I just slowly move up, find that sweet spot, and just keep making it go up. And that seems to be the better way of doing these on this particular job for me. And I'm finding it hard for me to follow along when I'm doing it this way. I keep wanting to move my hand off of it for some reason, so I found that resting my hand here and holding the trigger, sort of something like that right there, and then that way I can just move my thumb up and down with it. So that's what we're doing. I've got the welder set for minimum and number 2. You got number 1 and number 2. You got minimum and maximum. I tried it at maximum 2. I tried it at maximum 1, and both of them were a little too much. So I tried it with minimum number 2, and we're just welding. I think this is 3/16 steel. Could be less, I don't know. I can go ahead and check that for you. All you technical guys out there, gotta have it down to the precise 5/32, and 1/8. So rule of thumb's 1/8. So let's get started. I'm going to turn my radio on before I start this.
April 11th, Greensboro Coliseum.
I put that shield right there to keep them sparks off that carpet.
Produced by Live Nation.
Alright, now that it's still hot, we want to paint it while it's hot. The reason we want to paint it while it's hot is it'll bake the paint right on it. And there we have a painted shackle or hanger. And it's adjustable. I can put it in 2 different locations if I want to. I just got to figure out where I want to put that, as far as which hole I want to be the first one and which one I want to be the second one. It probably will never get moved, because once you get it in a certain place you don't really need to move it. The only way you'd have to do that or use this is if you had a longer spring. And I don't know if I'm going to later go and put an actual shackle system on it that moves instead of it hitting against the frame. If I do that, then I'll probably need to extend it a little further, and then I'll have my options, a little more options. So, that's why I did it in 2 instead of 1. Plus it gives it a little more strength. So we'll wait for these to dry, and then I'm going to take some clear coat and clear coat over them, and they'll be done. So there you have the hangers done, except for clear coating it and clear coating the bolts and nuts. And once I get it installed, I'll clear coat it again, just because I'm going to nick it. So now the spring hangers are done, and all I need to do now is cut the old ones off, which that'll be in the next part. Cut the old ones off and clean it up with the grinder wheel, and then find out where my location is. First thing I got to do is make sure that I know the distance between the back spring holder and the hole. I need to measure. I want these to be in the exact same spot that they were in before. So I gotta make sure I measure that before I start cutting anything out, because then I ain't gonna have no reference. So do your homework. You only want to do the job once, and you want your holes to be in the right location. You don't want to have to oblong a hole. So, but we're going to drill it out so that the bolts will go through it, and we're going to put a nut on the other side of it, and with a lock washer. So 2 of them, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And that roller is going to work out really nice, because now it will mount to the back side of the metal. So I didn't want to have to cut none of my 2x6s, so that's why I made it this way, because I didn't want to have to cut my 2x6s and change that design. I didn't want to do all that. I like it, the floor is just the way it is. So I got to chase these threads. I got a little bit of weld in one of them here. So anyway, I'll show you that real quick. Now this here will mount right to the back side of the frame. And I made sure that I had plenty of clearance between this roller and this bar right here. As you can see, I've got it offset about, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch. And that way this is always going to be right flush with the back side of the boards. And I'll have 3/16 of an inch play between the roller and the board. So the only thing I really need to worry about is the height wise. And then I'll bolt that on with these 2 bolts right here, which are missing. Where am I? No, not AWOL. Well, I done lost them bolts. So now we gotta look for bolts. Here they be. And we got 2 matching bolts. They're bigger, but they take an Allen head. They look pretty decent. They match these 2. And we'll go ahead and put them in. Now I'm going to drill the frame out to thread it for this size bolt, and then I'm going to use this bolt to thread into that hole, and then once I've got it threaded, then I'm going to put a lock nut on it just to make sure it don't come off. There's really not that much pressure on this. All this is just to keep the cable from riding against the wood and putting a groove in it. So this is actually overkill. 1/4 would work fine. But these match these bolts, and I've clear coated everything, and she's ready to go on. Now what I was talking about earlier, now remember this is going to be in the center. So I've got, let's say this is the trailer, and we're going to put this in the center. Now I want to make another bracket that comes off this side somehow, and I would only need 1 bracket to come off on this end and have a piece of steel shaft that would, let's say, something like this. Actually, I could probably use these on the each side and weld my track to this. You know, shorten it however long I want it, and then all I would have to have would be a sleeve or collar that goes in between here and connects these two together, because this here bracket's going to work. So then that's going to make it a 4 bracket system. You got one here, one here, one here, and one here, and these will be your ramps. We hope I have enough material to make a set of ramps. I've got a lot of bed frame around here, but whether I've got enough of each thing to make these ramps, I don't know. But I'd have to shorten this to however long it's going to be, and they're just going to have to be stationary in one place, because it's going to be as wide as from here to the outside edge of the trailer. So it's pretty much covered everything that you can get a track on anyway. You can't put a track in between here, and all tractors are at least wider than this from inside tire to inside tire. So I don't see any reason why this shouldn't take care of every tractor that I put up. And all I have to do is just make a sleeve to go here. This here will go into that sleeve, and then another bracket like this will be made to put on this side that will mount the mount to the trailer on the other end, and there's your pivot point. Alright, then you take your ramps that you're going to make out of bed frames or whatever it is, then we just weld that to this. We just cut that out, the circle, cut it out, and then butt it up against here, weld that bad boy there, and make this our hinge. It's just an idea. That doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. This idea might change 50 times before I actually get there. But you know, who knows? I might have a set of bearings that fits that. I think I've got 2 pieces of this. Nope, this is the last piece I got of it, so I ain't got enough of that. But I think these will work because it's the same size inside diameter all the way through. So I can just pop that bearing out, cut that to the size that I need, and then re-drive the bearing in there, and then just recut the shaft. So I think that'll work. And I've got a bunch of these. So I have one for this side, one for this side. That'll be my hinge for my ramps. But that's going to be a whole nother video, ramps. So that's just upcoming. Me thinking. Anyway, this is getting a little long. You guys have a good one. And yes, I know I'm not supposed to be working, but I cannot set still. I cannot do it. My vanity won't allow it. I gotta be doing something, man, because if I'm not doing something, I feel worthless. So you guys just stay tuned and keep watching the Bison Workshop, and we'll keep these projects coming. We still got the tongue yet to do, and I'm going to bolt it on. I'm not going to weld it on, because I like to take it off when I need to. So I hope y'all enjoyed this, and you guys have a good one. Later.